Welcome back to Briggs on Books, our international talk show where we talk to authors, not just authors, but authors, publishers, editors, readers. There's so much that goes into getting a book published, and we want our viewers to know what it takes to get their book out. Many of our viewers have been writing and writing and writing on their books, and they have not got across that finish line. So we try to feature authors who've actually done it. Wrote the book, finished writing the book, and they got across the finish line. And to that end, our next guest is all the way from New Mexico. Welcome, Fred Pilcher. Welcome, Fred.
Oh, thank you, Mike. Let me say it's an honor and privilege to be on your show.
Well, thank you. We're excited to have you because you're a man who's worn many hats. You're actually a physics professor.
Well, I was for many years. I'm retired now. Went into a second career as astronomer and decided that, well, I got a vivid imagination, and the idea came to me, a beautiful princess. Her land is being ravaged by an evil sorcerer.
Well, you spent much of your life looking for hard evidence, very clear evidence of things, and now you've totally gone the other way, and it's all, you're working in fictional realms?
Well, I've had a rich imagination all my life. I mean, I was already imagining going to the moon and Mars even before Sputnik. Fast forward a few decades, I'm a physics and astronomy teacher. I've learned the art of critical thinking. I've learned how to follow the evidence where it leads.
Yeah.
We got so much disinformation today, and I'm not perfect, but I'm pretty good at distinguishing it. But at the same time, I kept on reading science fiction and fantasy. Just know the difference between them.
You know the difference. By the way, for our viewers, here's Fred's book cover, Agatha, the Beloved Queen.
Yes?
And before we jump into that, let me ask you about Astronomer. Is this stuff that's been happening in the with the eclipse and with the northern lights, does that fall under astronomy?
Oh yes, very definitely. The major solar flare about 3 years ago just disrupted the Earth's magnetic field, flooded the upper atmosphere with high energy particles, and so we got these beautiful auroras.
Yeah. I would imagine you did not see any down there in New Mexico.
We don't see them this far south.
Yeah, but some people here in California got to see them and were very excited about it.
Well, I'm pleased. It's a good show.
Yeah,
more than worth watching.
Yes. Now, you made this jump to fiction. Now, tell me about Agatha, the Beloved Queen.
Well, Agatha, the Beloved Queen, was born to a widowed queen. As an infant, her fairy godmother came to her within an hour after she was born and told her mother, "As you love your child, I give her the gifts of wisdom, I give her the gifts of wisdom, compassion, and perception of character. Wow. She can become the greatest queen Agatha has ever known." Now, on my very first page, you see, I made a promise to my readers. Well, I'll leave it to you readers to decide whether or not I fulfill it.
Okay.
20 years later, the evil sorcerer comes, kills the queen. Agatha escapes and goes into hiding. And her fairy godmother comes to her once more and says, "I cannot alone defeat the sorcerer, but I can protect you. Magi can do you no harm." Magi has also destroyed the kingdom of Juan, a country with a climate similar to yours. The crown prince of Juan, Olaf, survives. He will come to you, but he must not identify himself to you. When you identify him and make love to him, Magi will be destroyed. But you must identify him on your first attempt. You will not get a second chance if you make love to anyone else ahead of Olaf. Magi's evil will last forever. So the screws are on. I don't think it's any great spoiler to say that she does identify him, because it's only a quarter of the way through the book.
Yeah.
But I won't tell you how. You'll have to read the story to find out.
Yeah. That's intriguing, Fred. Now tell me about the realm that this princess or queen lives in. Is it a totally
The realm
made up
is
realm?
It's set about 600 years ago.
Okay.
Xana is a mythical land. It's on the seacoast, in the tropics, has a warm climate. People who know medieval history can recognize the setting. I talk about the Great Eastern Kingdom, which is China. I talk about the island kingdom far away, which of course is England, and don't use those words. People can identify them. It's a 15th century setting.
Okay. That is great. I love that period anyway. Now, Fred, who's this written for? Who should read this, or who can't read it, for example?
Well, it has some adult scenes in it. It should be 18 plus.
Okay.
Not everybody will like it. If you admire strong women and your sympathies are with the common people ahead of the fabulously wealthy, and a few adult scenes and a touch of fantasy enliven rather than detract from the story, then I think you're pretty sure to like it. So those are the type of people to whom I recommend the story.
Yeah, I was being a little sarcastic because there's this giant audience out there that loves this genre.
Well, I think there's a lot of popularity of strong, compassionate women these days. One of my reviewers said that she thought Queen Agatha was a model of common sense rule.
Wow. That's good. Well, this is the age of strong women, and I think that's a good subject for young women today to see examples of strong women, even if it's in fiction. I think that's a good lesson for them, for all of us, in fact. Now, I got to tell you, Fred, right before we came on the air, I was going through your website, which we have on the screen, your fredpilcher.godaddy.com/about, and there's a lot about Fred in there and a little bit about the book. I encourage our viewers to go take a look at that. On this book, Fred, what formats is it? Is it Kindle and all those others?
It is in Kindle and printed format.
Okay. And will there be any, let's say, audio book?
None is planned.
Okay.
At least for the foreseeable future.
Yeah. What I got to read of the book and about the book, Fred, I hate to say, but this sounds like it could be a great movie.
Well, I like to think so, but you know how those things are.
Yeah. Any supernatural, any dragons or anything like that pop in?
There is an evil sorcerer who materializes out of thin air. A little ball of fire emerges from his fingertips, flashes over to the queen, kills her.
Yeah.
Just a few such scenes. There's a fairy godmother who sort of materializes out of nothing and then disappears again. But just a few of those scenes.
Yeah.
Enough to provide a background, but now Agatha, the beloved queen, using the gifts of wisdom, compassion, and perception of character, now strives to give prosperity to all of her people.
Yeah. I'm anxious to get into this book and see how it all unravels and where it ends up.
Thank you.
I wanted to say this, that I try to ask each author a little bit about their process because, like I say, so many of our thousands and thousands of authors out there have been writing and writing, haven't been able to put their pencil down and finish their book. What was your, did you write this in 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years?
Oh, 2 or 3 years, including everything. It grew from the scene of the fairy godmother appearing before the princess, her mother had just been killed, and saying that she can identify her handsome prince and defeat Magi. And then it grew a sentence, a paragraph at a time, to a total of 114,000 words. And then I got some very capable line editing help.
Yeah.
And finally, it was ready to go.
Yeah. Now, did you know the whole story, or did it just build as you were writing?
It built the sentence, a paragraph at a time, and as it built, I added the sentence or a paragraph maybe in some cases the whole chapter in the appropriate place of the book.
Yeah, that sounds like an adventure in itself, unraveling right before your eyes. I'm glad you said that about the line editor, because some people think they have to get their book perfect before they seek help. And there's a lot of people out there that will help you get across the finish line, maybe cut out 50,000 words or so, right?
Well, in my case, I am strong on imaginative plot lines and weak on character development.
Right.
So my line editors really helped me build the personalities of these characters into people that you can understand, that you can identify with. And so I give them all my thanks.
Very good. Now, what's
I would recommend line editing for all newer authors.
Now, you're a young man, Fred. What is there? You got a couple more books coming out?
None are planned.
Okay. This is a handful on its own. Once you finish writing, there's a whole nother job you have on getting it published and getting it promoted.
That's a lot harder than writing. At least it has been for me.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that you have a good, strong Zoom connection. I can't tell you how many authors I've talked to that just have not been able to manage that, and you did it. So thank you, Fred. We're almost out of time already, but I want to give a moment or two. Do you want to tell our viewers anything else about you, about the book, or about your processes?
Well, all my life I have admired strong women. It's just a part of my character. I like Cinderella, the Walt Disney cartoon from 1950. Ingrid Bergman appeared in Joan of Arc, 1951.
Yeah.
And I simply admire strong women.
Yeah.
So the idea of writing a story about a strong and compassionate woman who really feels for the common person.
Mm.
Now, she encounters all kinds of problems along the way, but, well, read the book and find out how she deals with them.
There you go. I'm going to read this book, and I guess you could get it in all the usual places?
Oh, yes.
Amazon, Barnes & Noble, all those?
Well, I don't think you could find it in a bookstore.
Okay.
But you can get it on Amazon online, you get it Barnes & Noble online. You could probably order it from a bookstore.
Yeah. I don't promote one side over another, but man, I have that Amazon Prime. I push the button, it shows up at my house, and it's pretty easy for me. Fred, thank you so much for taking the time all the way from New Mexico to talk to us this morning. And as I get the book and read it, I think we're going to invite you back again.
Well, I certainly want to thank you for the honor and privilege of appearing on this show.
Yeah.
And again, I want to give all of you audience my good wishes.
All right, and here's the
May
cover.
all farewell.
This is the cover again. Agatha, the beloved queen. Fred Pilcher is the author. Ordered. By the way, Fred, I'll say this last thing. I say this all the time. If you go and order this book, don't just click and order one. Click 5 times and order 5 of them. Give them away to some people. You're always having to give gifts throughout the year, and what a great and very inspiring book to do that with. Thank you so much, Fred.
Thank you, Mike.
And for our viewers, don't go anywhere. We will be back with another author right after this.